If Lee wants to mess up his life and his chance, I can't let it destroy mine.
Did Lee deserve the sympathy he got at the beginning, or did he deserve every bit of backlash that came later? Because this was not just the story of a man trapped in a 700-pound body, it was the story of a woman sacrificing everything to keep him alive, only to be repaid with anger, control, and abuse. Lee and Renee were supposed to be a couple trying to save their lives together, but very quickly their story stopped feeling like a weight loss journey and started looking like something much darker, because Renee was not just fighting her own body, her own pain, and her own food addiction. She was also carrying Lee's entire life on her back. Every morning, before she could even think about herself, she had to take care of him first. And that is what makes this story so uncomfortable. This was not just two people trapped by obesity. This was one woman slowly disappearing inside a relationship where love, guilt, dependency, and control were all mixed together.
Because I've gotten so big, my body feels like I'm in a prison. I'm just trapped.
Lee and Renee's story begins in a place that already feels hopeless. Both of them are severely overweight, both of them are in pain, and both of them know their lives are getting smaller every single day. But even inside that shared suffering, the burden is not equal.
But I can't even take the time to worry about myself. Because my boyfriend can't do anything for himself anymore.
Renee is still the one moving around more, still the one trying to handle the daily chores, and still the one taking care of Lee before she can even take care of herself. That is the first thing that makes this episode feel different. It is not just about two people eating themselves into danger. It is about one person becoming so dependent that the other person slowly disappears behind the job of keeping them alive.
I've always taken care of everybody else. And I've never had time to take care of me.
So once I finish with Lee, then I can finally take care of myself.
And when you look at their daily routine, it becomes clear how exhausting that must have been. Simple things that most people do without thinking, getting out of bed, walking to the bathroom, taking a shower, getting dressed, going outside, become full-day events. For Lee, even bathing is not something he can really do alone. Renee has to help wash him, help him move, help him clean the parts of his body he can no longer reach. And what makes this even sadder is that Renee is not healthy herself. She is not some strong, able-bodied caretaker with endless energy. She is also carrying hundreds of extra pounds. She is also hurting, shaking, and struggling to breathe. But somehow Lee's needs always come first.
He has to be laid down, and someone else has to hold the urinal for him in place, just for him to be able to pee. That person, 9 times out of 10, is me, and when I do it, I have to stand to do it. So therefore, it exerts me also.
I'm sorry, baby. One of these days, I'll be able to get out and stand and pee.
That is why the question on the thumbnail matters so much. Did Lee deserve sympathy, or did he deserve the backlash? Because at the beginning, it is easy to feel sorry for him. He is trapped in a body that is failing. He can barely walk, he needs help with almost everything, and he knows his life is slipping away.
Somebody helping me. I just feel bad because I know she's in pain and it's hard for her.
I'm miserable every day.
But once the journey actually begins, the problem becomes much bigger than weight. Lee and Renee finally decide to travel to Houston to meet Dr. Now, because at that point, they both know there may not be much time left. The road trip alone shows how bad things have become. They pack snacks before leaving, stop for fast food, and Renee is terrified because she knows that if Lee needs anything on the road, she will be the one who has to handle it. This was supposed to be the start of a new life, but it already looks like the same addiction, following them into the car. When they finally arrive at Dr. Now's office, the scale removes every excuse. Renee weighs 549 pounds, but Lee is even heavier at 714 pounds. That number shocks him, and it should.
Lee, you are 714 pounds, and Renee, you are 549 pounds. And you both have significant health issues as a result of your weight.
Dr. Now makes it clear that both of them are in serious danger, but Lee especially is running out of time. He has high blood pressure, sleep apnea, gout, high cholesterol, depression, and he is already on oxygen because his body can no longer handle the weight. Dr. Now gives them a clear path. Renee has to lose 75 pounds, and Lee has to lose 15 pounds before surgery can even be considered. For a moment, it looks like they understand. They go home, start moving more, try to cut back their portions, and for the first time in years, they seem to have a real goal instead of just another excuse.
Neither of you would be able to survive any surgery right now. To change that, you both need to lose a lot of weight. Renee, I want you to lose 75 pounds to get all your medical issues under control so we can safely do surgery.
And to be fair, they do make progress. Renee loses weight, Lee loses weight, and eventually they move to Houston so they can stay closer to Dr. Now and keep working towards surgery. Lee gets approved first, and after everything Renee has done for him, this should have been the moment he finally stepped up. But surgery does not fix character. It does not erase cravings. It does not create discipline, and it definitely does not turn someone into a supportive partner overnight.
Renee, you lost 31 pounds with the total weight loss of 73 pounds. And Lee, you lost 47 pounds. That's 142 pounds so far, huh?
After Lee has his bypass, Renee notices that he is already slipping back into bad habits. He is eating the wrong things, making excuses, getting angry when she questions him, and acting like the surgery was supposed to magically remove all responsibility from him.
And you're not losing weight.
I don't eat.
What are you talking about? You're choosing to overeat and you think it's okay?
No, I don't think it's okay at all. I guess I'm not eating the right things. I mean,
We gave you the instruction that you need to follow, and you never follow it. You play your cards right until you got the surgery. And now you're playing this kind of game?
This is where the story turns from frustrating to ugly. Renee is still waiting for her own surgery, still trying to stay on track, and still depending on Lee to become healthy enough to support her when it is finally her turn. But instead of helping her, Lee starts dragging her backward.
He's still been overeating and doing things he shouldn't. And he's even starting to tell me that I shouldn't get surgery, and I don't know why.
They miss an appointment because Lee does not want to go. Renee says he knows he has been overeating, and that makes it even more selfish because this is supposed to be her chance now. Then the arguments get worse. Renee says Lee only treats her like a human being when he needs something. She says he calls her names, takes everything out on her, and makes her feel worthless. And when she confronts him, Lee does not take accountability. He blames her, gets defensive, and even says he does not want to be with her anymore.
We missed our last appointment with Dr. Now because Lee didn't want to go because he knows he's overeating, but it was completely selfish of him because it's my turn to get weight loss surgery. Things are even worse than ever.
By the time they return to Dr. Now, the difference between them is obvious. Renee has continued to lose weight even without surgery, while Lee has barely lost anything after already getting the tool he begged for. Dr. Now immediately calls him out. Lee tries to blame the wrong foods, fluid, throwing up, and even the fear of becoming malnourished, but Dr. Now is not buying it. He tells Lee the surgery is working exactly the way it should. It is forcing him to stop when he overeats. But instead of accepting the truth, Lee gets angry, shuts down, and tries to leave the conversation. That moment says everything. Lee wanted the surgery, but he did not want the accountability that came after it.
hey, you're making me mad.
You
I'm
sit
leaving.
down right there.
You
You
just
sit down right over there.
No,
Lee, sit down.
Okay,
let go of me, Renee.
all right, this is completely unacceptable.
In the end, Lee and Renee's episode tries to leave us with hope. Both of them lose a serious amount of weight, and for a while, it looks like they might finally build the future they kept talking about. Lee even speaks about proposing, while Renee seems to be slowly finding herself again after years of living more like his caretaker than his partner. But real life did not become that happy ending. Lee and Renee eventually split up. After everything they went through together, they did not stay together, and Lee later married another woman in 2024. Then on January 29, 2026, Lee Sutton passed away at the age of 51 at Mercy Hospital in Springfield, Missouri. That ending makes the story feel even heavier. Lee deserved medical help, compassion, and a chance to change. But Renee also deserved peace, safety, and a life that did not revolve around carrying a man who kept pulling her down. So when people ask whether Lee deserved sympathy or backlash, the answer is complicated. He was sick, but he also hurt the person who tried the hardest to save him.